Yo, man. Another great game. Love to see it, man. What is up, everybody, man? How you been? How's life been, man? Welcome back to the channel, man. Saucy Takes here. We about to talk through this game, man, because first of all, shout out to Miami Heat, man. Absolutely phenomenal game. Last time I jumped on here, I said how I went to the game and it was a fucking nail breaker, ended with the Tyler Hero game winner. And today, I was also at attendance. It's 2 games I've been to. Absolute bangers of games. Oh my goodness. 2 for different reason. One because of an offensive shot made by Tyler Hero. And, this game, obviously, that you guys just saw this, yesterday against the Phoenix Suns was an absolute stellar performance by the entire team in the fourth quarter. But real specifically, it was Jimmy Butler with the iconic block on Devin Booker as time was winding down in the fourth quarter while the Heat were up by 1. Let's take you through this game, man, because it was an interesting game. Started off, the Heat were on fire from 3. Could not miss. I believe they went 7 for 8 in the first quarter. They hit like 7 threes. They were just on a mission in the first quarter. The Suns, they were just trotting along. No teams basically could get a stop on defense. And, the second quarter, they cooled off a bit. Game was going back and forth. Dwayne Washington, shout out Dwayne Washington. He was on a mission himself. Had 16 points, I believe, in the first half. I finished with like 21. Shout out Dwayne. He was hooping for the Phoenix Suns and all that, man. But, halftime came around. Close game. Third quarter starts. Game continues to be close. But then the Heat's weakness starts showing up, man. And I promise you this is not going to be a negative video, man. They've won 3 games in a row. It's time to show a little bit of positivity, even though, we'll see how far this team goes, because the weaknesses in this third quarter for the Miami Heat were very, very evident. They were very, very clear. It felt like the Suns had 17 attempts per possession to get a bucket. Let me explain to you why. It was just so much and so much and so much of the same. Miami getting stops on defense, not being able to close out defensive possessions with rebounds. It was so frustrating to see. It was super frustrating to watch live specifically. Miami kept trying different things, and I can't really blame Spo, because like the defense wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but the defense wasn't horrible for some of the third quarter's possessions. It was just a lot of them having mismatches down low, Bam switching out to perimeter, guarding Booker or whoever. It was typically Booker, and Booker just literally being like, all right, Bam's guarding me. All right, I'm going to be chilling at the logo at half court. Bam's going to be over here babysitting me, because he has to, because Devin Booker's their best player, especially with no CP3. And I'm just going to let my team out-rebound your team, because you got Kyle Lowry against the center trying to box him out, or you got Kyle Lowry against Torrey Gregg, who killed us on rebounds in the third and fourth quarter trying to box him out. And it was just, Miami just kept giving up possession after possession after possession. Second chance points. It felt like, I believe the Suns finished with like 17 offensive rebounds, maybe. So I just checked it. Not 17, 20 offensive rebounds for the Phoenix Suns. And I don't have the stat in front of me. It felt like 15 of those were just in the second half. It was ridiculous. Like I said, Torrey Craig finished with 7 offensive rebounds. He was just bullying, making the Heat pay for not having Bam in the paint or Dwayne Dedmon in the paint. And it was just a struggle in that third quarter for the Heat team to just be able to close out defensive possessions. Like I was saying, a lot of the times they tried different things. They were throwing a bunch of different coverages at Devin Booker. Booker was, honestly, he didn't really seem fazed by any coverage. He was just picking everything apart. I know he only finished with like 25 points, but his impact was felt more than that. 25 points and 5 assists was not really, the stats aren't really telling enough, in my opinion, of the impact Devin Booker had on the Miami Heat defense. They were doubling him, blitzing him off of pick and rolls. When Dedmon was in, they were switching, trying to just contain him. And Phoenix was doing everything possible. Like a lot of this, the 25 points and the 5 assists, you see that, and I think that's like around his season averages. So you don't really think he did too much, but his ability to just literally have Bam just being Devin Booker and have Bam babysit him out there was huge for the Phoenix Suns. Um, Another thing I want to touch on in this entire game, something that's kind of negative, even though I'm gonna try to spin it in a positive light. Max Strus just came off of a 31-point game against the Charlotte Hornets. Not a big deal. The Hornets can't guard anybody. They are horrible on defense. But, Max Strus follows up a 31-point game with a 5-point game against Phoenix. Let me just say, I am delighted to have Strus on this team. I am delighted to have him command the respect that he did today. I felt today personally that this is the most focus I've ever seen from any team to eliminate Strus from the game. This was Duncan like. Let me explain that. A lot of people here, a lot of hate towards Duncan and this and that, but the treatment Strus got today as a minimum player, shout out to the Heat for finding this guy, was what Duncan used to get back when he was a rookie. They were all over him, denying him the ball, blitzing, just trying to blow up every single dribble handoff, every single off-ball screen. Cameron Payne did a great job on him for basically not allowing Strus to get the ball. Finished with only 5 points. He had no points heading into the fourth, so all 5 came in the fourth, and that's one thing I want to touch on Strus. I feel like his confidence never wavers. It is a beauty to see. It's very rare to see players just not get phased. Not getting phased, and just no matter how bad they've been that game or how bad, whatever that day their shooting has been or whatever, because he finished 2 for 8. He wasn't particularly good today. But I think the attention that he got and the amount of space that he created was amazing to see, because he has never been guarded like he was guarded today. In my opinion, not even in the playoffs, not even Boston did this. They basically said, Strus, you are not touching this ball. You are not, the 3-pointers are not coming from you. And, with that being said, it allowed to some opportunities for a couple players we're going to touch on, one of them being Caleb Martin. A lot of rotation, a lot of help was coming from Caleb's man. So a lot of the Suns' defensive scheming seemed to be helping off of Caleb, whether he was in the corner. He made a couple tops. He made a nice shot in the fourth quarter, but in the first quarter particularly, he had like 3 threes in the first. They were mostly wide open looks off of driving kicks and stuff like that. But basically, the help defender came from Caleb, and he made him pay. So, shout out to Caleb. He had himself an amazing game. I think probably one of his best games so far this season, or at least most impactful. Crucial in that fourth quarter for the Miami Heat to they were down 13 in the fourth, and Caleb's pressure on Cameron Payne, and specifically, I'm not gonna lie, he could not guard Devin Booker, and he could not guard Mikal Bridges. I'm sorry, Bridges. I forgot. Yeah, Mikal Bridges. He couldn't really guard him. Like they were just, they were not that he couldn't guard him. They were making tough shots over him. You live with some of these players, but I felt like specifically, I went to the game with my pops, man. Shout out OG. So, and I was trying to tell my dad, like, he was like, "Oh, good defense by Martin." I'm like, "Yeah," after he catches the ball, but like so all right, excuse me, guys. I'm gonna get a little basketball nerdy here for y'all, because this is just something I realized during this game. So there were spurts in this game where Martin was guarding Booker, and throughout the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, once Jimmy came in, it was Jimmy, that's your man, figure it out. But in the first 3 quarters in specific, there was a lot of spurts where Martin's primary assignment on defense was Devin Booker. Obviously, screens and stuff like that, he could have guarded somebody else, but primarily it was Devin Booker. The Heat didn't run a lot of zone today, so it was mostly man. So, that's for further emphasis. But in these possessions, Martin was basically playing what is called the trail technique on Devin Booker, where essentially he's not top locking Booker. So to give you guys an example, if a player is, the ball's at the top of the key and Booker's in the baseline, Martin is basically behind Booker, giving Booker easy access to catch the ball, or to come off of the screen and catch the ball, putting more pressure on, Bam to show, and the secondary defenders to come and rotate to the big if he slips, yada, yada, yada. One thing I would have liked better, I mean, obviously, I'm not the fucking coach. I don't know maybe that was a scheme, but he wasn't top locking Booker. Top locking is essentially when you basically try to deny this man the ball at all times possible. If he wants to get the ball, let it be on a backdoor and let him deal with the help from Bam, not, let him come up and get to his spot and get the ball. So basically, Martin was having himself a good game, but I felt like in the first 3 quarters specifically, Booker he didn't really feel Martin's presence. He's not as lengthy, as strong as Jimmy and stuff like that. And you can really tell that's why I would like for him to use his quickness and top lock Booker a little more. In the fourth quarter, you'll see Jimmy top locking Booker several possessions and trying to get the Suns to basically Booker to not get the ball in his spots because Martin was playing good defense. Like I was saying, as soon as Booker caught the ball, like there was a couple possessions where he caught it like somewhere around the free throw line area or on the wing elbow ish area in the mid range. And by the time he got the ball, like it was wraps. He got to his spot. The defense was good after the contest was there, but again, some of these players, man, if they get to these are NBA players, if they get to their spot, it's basically you're done for it. So that's why in the fourth quarter, I like the way Jimmy was guarding him, man. Jimmy, shout out to Jimmy because I think that the last couple games against Charlotte specifically, he's been kind of uh, iffy on defense. His offense has been phenomenal, so I'm not here to complain. I'm just nitpicking, but his defense, a lot of blow bys and things like that. But in this fourth quarter, man, there's not much to be said for Jimmy's defense besides wow, the defense was just dialed in that fourth quarter. It was 102-89, like I stated, and the Heat went on this 24-10 run to close the game and get the dub. In large part to this man named Bam Adebayo. A lot of people. I still, it still bothers me sometimes how much hate Bam gets from the Heat fan base because I don't even know if it's hate because like I don't think it's hate because they think he sucks because I think if you think Bam sucks, you don't know basketball. I don't know what to tell you. But just hate because I feel like that people think he could do more, and I understand that. That's cool. But this man has been an absolute monster over the last couple games. 30 points today and 10 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds. Just absolutely menace on the rebounds offensively. Like I said, his defensive rebounds weren't really that high. He was out there basically babysitting Booker sometimes at half court because the Suns were like, all right, we'll play 4-on-4 and have your big man out the way. But just in the fourth quarter specifically, just was aggressive, man. That's all you want from a player. I don't give an absolute shit if this man goes out there and shoots 5 for 18. I want him to shoot 18 times. If he takes 14 free throws, the Heat are going to be in great position to win games. Why? Because he is aggressive. He's putting pressure on your defenders. He's putting pressure on everybody. I don't care. He's a little turnover prone. I don't give a fuck about any of that, man. I want Bam to play like he did today. Offensively, defensively, he was still very impactful, even as much as they tried to negate him. That's just the respect that, teams have for this man. And I'm happy. I'm happy to see him have 30 points in a win in the Heat's most important game of the season. I think, for several reasons. Off of 2 straight wins against the same team twice. Not really a standout win on their schedule besides the Golden State one, but Golden State's been really, really up and down this year. As I say that, they're up by like 50 points against the San Antonio Spurs, but I digress. Just a game where I felt like the Heat had to have it because they're picking up their stride a little bit, but the Phoenix is a test. As much as they sucked last year in the playoffs, or they disappointed or whatever, they fell short of expectations. They're still number 1 ranked defense, and like I was saying, man, super important game for the Heat to win. Down the stretch, things started getting a little iffy once the game was really close. A couple of possessions where I felt like Larry was holding the ball a little too long. Little things. Phoenix was picking up their intensity on defense and stuff like that, but something, sticking with Bam, something that was just absolutely beautiful to see is when the Heat needed to back it down by 1 with like 40 seconds, 30 some seconds left. The man whose number got called was a Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo pick and roll. What? Yes, you heard that correct. It was. I have not. I don't think I've seen this since Jimmy's been here. Bam get the ball when Jimmy's on on the floor in crunch time, like to basically like win him the game or whatever it was. He did. The first game that pops into my mind is when Bam dropped like 40 points against Brooklyn, but that was without Jimmy, so they literally had to give him the ball and he scored the game winner. But with Jimmy on the floor, this is the first time that the Spo really calls his number and just like, go get it, go get it. You got like 28 up to this point. When it's the game, go ahead, do your thing, man. And he answered, man, and that's really the most you can ask for. I feel like I've hit on everything that I've wanted to hit about, except for the most important play of the game. Jimmy Butler was absolutely a menace to Devin Booker in the last play of the game, and just a beautiful, beautiful stop by him. Booker had hit a tough tough couple shots. He got a tough and one over Jimmy for a long two, and then the fading three in the right wing, which was just like ice in his veins, man. Shouts out to Devin Booker. He hooped, but Jimmy just relentless. That's one word I could use to describe Jimmy Butler. And one thing that I really enjoyed, as soon as this happened, after the game was over, once Strus grabbed the rebound and the buzzer sound, Jimmy hugged the absolute living shit out of Eric Spoelstra. They were both just absolutely like just super excited, super excited. So it's nice to see that the team is. I feel like this is a big win for the team in terms of morale and just confidence. I think confidence has been, it's a big thing with this unit, believe it or not. And yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning in. I know it's been a minute since I dropped the video, but if you're watching this, appreciate the support, man. Don't forget to subscribe, man. It means a ton to me. I'm gonna be trying to post on TikTok a little more, so all that is gonna be in the description. The beat that you're gonna listen to in this outro and you heard in the intro is made by my boy. Shout out OJ, but check out his YouTube for music. Just absolute fire beats, man. Know the man personally. Elite musician. So I think that wraps up the video, guys. Thank you for staying here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being you. And per usual, I'm just kidding, guys. Check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Almost forgot, but per usual, stay saucy, my friends.